everybody, and welcome back to the 51st episode of the Triboro Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Justin Alonso, joined in the incredible studio of WNHU, Nicholas O'Brien. I love this place so much more than Discord. It is so much nicer.
Being in person again, we're back, we're here. The mic quality upgrades.
By a good little bit.
By a good little
lot.
Just a touch.
Good lot
Just a touch. But very happy to be back. We love this place, and I'm sure you guys like it too.
Yeah. And you make me do more work on editing, but it's worth it.
100%. Even though I don't touch it, it is worth it.
Anyways, baseball happened.
Baseball happened once again.
We ran around just to even get in here in the first
A
place.
little bit of a journey, but hey, shout out JJ.
We love JJ. Not McCarthy. Not Leday. Any other JJs I could think of?
JJ.
Joe Mama?
No, I don't think that's one. There's gotta be like some guy that played in like 1850.
Yeah. JJ Red Stockings.
Exactly, like JJ the Third Woodstock. Got 1995 is the earliest JJ with JJ Thobe.
Okay. I want to see if there's any Yankees or Mets ones. Oh, there's a JJ Mativic. JJ Hardy.
Oh wait, that's Joe. I don't want Joe. I want JJ's. Minor league players. JJ Adams in 1900.
Oh my god. Alright, we're on drugs.
Anyways, JJ Border in 1897.
Okay, we're cooking.
1895, JJ Connors.
Okay.
Let me just control F18. 97, 1895, 97, 99,
do like 1880.
97. That's it. That's all we got. Anyways, let's get this started.
Into the Bronx.
That one is drilled deep to right field. There it goes. See ya. That ball is high. It is far. It is gone.
This is 161st Street, Yankee Stadium. Transfer is available to the B and D.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Bronx. And you are about to think that you have dementia when I say the same thing over and over with your injury update brought to you by the Triboro MD. Cody Poteet began a rehab assignment for AA Somerset. Ian Hamilton began a rehab assignment with AA Somerset. Clark Schmidt began a rehab assignment with AA Somerset. Anthony Rizzo has begun a rehab assignment with AA Somerset. John Birdie has begun a rehab assignment with AA Somerset.
So half the major league roster currently in AA.
Within the last week, yes.
Amazing.
Well, I had to represent by accident with the Jersey Diners.
No,
if you guys do not
by
have
accident. It was planned.
If you don't have the Jersey Diners collection, you need to buy it right now.
Missing out.
Hashtag not sponsored. Sponsored, not sponsored.
We should get sponsored.
Sponsor us.
Please.
I love you. Your admin is awesome. Anyway, I will let my dogs be the bat dogs. They will not listen. They will try and attack the players and try and get cuddles from them.
Speaking of bat dogs, did you see that one bat dog that ran off, completely missed and just
started shitting all over the field?
Yes.
2 different times.
Yes. Excellent.
Did you see? Apparently, the story was that was like the daughter of the bat dog they had, but the old bat dog got too old, so she was retiring, so they were giving it to the daughter.
The lineage. You gotta continue the legacy.
But she just did not fucking listen.
She just shit on the field.
Gave 2 piles. Imagine you're just an
on-field delay.
doing, like, infield drills, and then the
dog's
dog's
just
running at you.
And you just accidentally pick up the poop with
I
your
was
glove.
just saying a dog starts cuddling with you when you're trying to, like... The dog just steals the ball before you can catch it.
Like midair, just jumps up.
Airbuds it.
Exactly.
But then the last one. Luis Gil placed on the 15-day IL with lower back strain, considered minor, and hopefully he will return by the 5th, which is the minimum amount of days. I was at the game that he started. He did not look good. That explains it.
No.
Yeah.
Like, I know he has trouble with his control, but this was like another level.
Yeah, it was like real. He just could not control a pitch.
Like 6 walks in 3 innings.
I don't know exactly, but I know he was at like an ungodly amount of pitches through 3 innings.
Yeah, it was pretty tough.
All things considered, it wasn't that bad. The thing that was really impressive to me, just since I was at the game, I'll talk about it. The bullpen had to pitch 9 innings, and except for the 8th inning, I'm pretty sure it was scoreless, or except for the 9th inning, I meant.
Yeah.
And they used every single reliever they had in the bullpen. And then in the top of the 12th, I think it was Tim Meza, just sucked. Donkey cock. Gave up, I think, 6 runs total. Then, yeah, that was that game. That was it was a very fun experience, but.
Yeah, I just pulled it up. So Luis Hill left in the 3rd inning, well, 4th inning because he completed 3 innings. The bullpen then held the Guardians scoreless until the 12th inning, which is when
Tim
Meza and Tonkin kind of just.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Tonkin got DFA'd.
Yes.
The reason why people are like, oh my god, the time. Blah, blah, blah. First off, everyone was shitting on like the Yankees when they signed him in the first place.
I mean, he was not good for the Mets or the Twins.
But now everyone's acting like we just lost Clay Holmes or we just lost fucking Mariano Rivera.
Right. Yeah.
He has a 6.5 ERA since the All-Star break.
That sounds more accurate.
Like it's just a thing of they got all they can get out of him.
Yeah.
So
they ran him dry.
Yeah, seriously. And you also have so many guys that are coming back because I just mentioned all those guys, but I didn't even mention Nick Birdie, who's almost ready, Efros and Trevino, Lou, not Jose, who have been in Double-A for a little bit, and they should be ready for a call-up anytime now. Yumi. Trying to think. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of options. It's not like there's not.
There are options. But I'm going to be talking all about the offense today because there are some guys that I think are either getting unfairly shit on or need to be shit on more. So we will start with DJ LeMahieu. He, in 214 plate appearances, I want you to guess his WRC plus.
32.
51.
Wow.
I want you to guess his WAR.
-0.2.
-0.4.
I was close.
I think on Baseball Reference it's -1.4. Because Fangraphs is overall better because they account more for defense if those don't know, and that's all DJ LeMahieu can do. But I'm going to read you all some stats. Hicks and Josh Donaldson, when they got cut. Josh Donaldson, in 120 plate appearances, so about half, 73 WRC plus, which is 22 points better. Aaron Hicks, 76 plate appearances, a third of what DJ LeMahieu had, 47 WRC plus.
Yeah.
I will say, I can't even make that argument because you look at Josh Donaldson. Josh Donaldson was still playing elite level defense when he got cut. I was going to say, at least with DJ, you have that, but not even really.
Yeah.
I think that the main thing, because the Yankees, the way that they approach contracts is if they have 2 years left, they'll cut him then.
Yeah.
He has like 2 1/3 because of the rest of this year. You saw it with Ellsbury, you saw it with Hicks, you saw it with a bunch of guys. I see, if they weren't struggling so much at first base, I think that he's just gone.
Yeah.
Because me personally, I would much rather have, if you're not going to have Jazz at third, I would much rather just have Oswaldo at third rather over DJ. What do you do with him?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because he has 2 years left, like you mentioned, each at 15 a year. So say you cut him, you're eating 30 mil, which is
not bad.
It's not terrible, but it's also a tough pill to swallow because 30 mil is a decent chunk.
Yeah, but over 2 years, not.
Yeah.
If it was 1 year, yeah, but.
Right, yeah.
I don't think it's. When's the next CBA?
I don't know. Like 26, maybe.
Okay, so the deal would be over then. Because I was just going to say, you would assume the luxury tax is going to be raised.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think we're dealing with that anytime soon.
Okay, yeah.
But I mean, look, you keep DJ there for whatever defense he can, provide. But do you cut him in favor of Rizzo when he's ready? Because Rizzo has been a good lefty hitter. Because I know they're basically platooning Rice. So you play Rice against righties, you play Rizzo against lefties.
It's one of those things that I think is tough because I don't see them from an asset management point of view. I don't see them keeping Rice over Rizzo or Rice over DJ, especially with how bad Rice has been. I definitely could see them sending him down just to like work on stuff because God knows he needs it. And that's not me shitting on Rice. He's just not been good since that 3 home run game. He just needs to be sent down to just fix himself.
Yeah, even just like clear his head.
Yeah. And speaking of which, a guy sitting in front of me was wearing a Ben Rice jersey.
Amazing.
And it wasn't even like it was just 93. Nope. Add the name on it too. So if Rice doesn't pan out, you just can't go back on that.
Nope. 93 is also a weird number. So I don't who else would replace that?
A prospect.
But I guess, yeah.
Because the Yankees don't have fucking numbers. God, I can't wait till Aaron Boone's gone, so 17's available. For those that don't know, I am an avid supporter of the number 17. I think if they weren't struggling so much at first base, I think there's a very realistic world where they just don't have him on the postseason roster, then cut him in the offseason.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I was also looking at Oswaldo because he plays some first base from time to time. And even then, he's better against righties than lefties.
Yeah, you don't play Oswaldo against a lefty.
Right, so even then it doesn't make sense because like you have Oswaldo, who is essentially a right-handed hitter at this point.
You mean left-handed?
Yeah.
Hits righties.
Yes, correct. He's a left-handed hitter at this point. You also have Rice, and then say you also have Rizzo. That's essentially 3 left-handed bats on your bench. So I don't think that makes a ton of sense. I mean, the other thing, too...
I don't think that Rice survives, though. I think Rice gets sent down, but go on.
No, at this point, it be due to just the option point, because I think, obviously, Cabrera provides a lot of versatility, so you kind of want him on that roster. Rice probably is the odd man out, which is very unfortunate. In 12 games, 38 plate appearances, he has a negative 19 weighted runs created plus in August.
That's Rice.
That's Rice.
Yeah.
Which is just...
bad.
More than 100% below average.
What is it again?
Negative 19. So it's 119% worse.
Aaron Judge is a better hitter than Ben Rice is a worse hitter. Because Aaron Judge is at 227 WRC plus, so that's 127% better. Ben Rice is 119% worse than league average.
Insane.
He's putting up Aaron Judge numbers.
Just opposite.
I feel like that's an incredible way to think about it. That Ben Rice is as historic as Aaron Judge is right now.
In terms of being bad at the game?
Yes.
Sure.
God damn, that's a way to look at it. But going on to Oswaldo, in his MLB career, he has 28.2 innings at first base, no errors, no DRS.
Right. So average.
Average.
Yeah, that's perfectly okay.
Yeah. I love the pictures of Oswaldo with 5 different gloves. But I wouldn't hate to see him at first.
Mm-hmm.
Just to, at least try and change it because I don't have the stats in front of me. I didn't plan on talking about Oswaldo. But he's been very good when he gets consistent playing time. Yeah. I know he was hot for, a 3-4 week stretch, about a week ago. But they just stopped playing him.
Yeah, in August, 31 plate appearances. He has a 115 weighted runs created plus. He's hitting 310 for 355 on base.
Yeah, for a guy that's your 8 or 9 hitter,
right?
You take that every day.
Yeah,
especially for a utility man,
right?
If you're gonna tell me that Marwin Gonzalez would have a 115 WRC plus, play every position, you're taking that every day of the week.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah.
But another guy that I want to shit on, Alex Verdugo.
Mm.
Oh, wait, I didn't. One last point on DJ LeMahieu. He has the 9th lowest WRC plus in MLB hitters with 200 or more plate appearances, which is pretty much every player in MLB.
Yep.
Alex Verdugo, as the 4th lowest WRC plus since May 1st. There are 3 hitters in Major League Baseball that have been worse than Alex Verdugo since May 1st. And that's not even including DJ LeMahieu.
Yeah. As of right now, there's at least, between those, at least 2 roster spots which are just completely useless.
Mm-hmm. And I hate that this is a narrative, but I wouldn't be doing my job if I did not at least mention it. Since switching to batting gloves that he was not allergic to, he has a 276 WRC plus.
How many games is that?
2.
He's so back.
And that doesn't include yesterday where he went 3 for 4.
He's so back. Imagine that's all it took.
I mean, I could see it, but I don't really care.
If he's a league average bat from this point forward, that's a major upgrade.
Oh, 100%. But I also just hate the way that they treat him, where they hit him against lefties over Trent Grisham. When Verdugo, I know I mentioned this before, but it just pisses me off.
Yeah.
That Verdugo cannot hit lefties, and Trent Grisham is better against lefties than righties. And they both shown it in their career, and they just have this refusal to play Grisham over lefties. And it just, I don't know, it doesn't make that much sense to me, because realistically, you're getting better defense if you put
Right.
Grisham out there.
You're improving, if anything.
Like, I don't care if it's Judge or Soto there in left field, because you're not going to sit stand against a lefty. But I don't know, that's pissed me off so much more than like anything else.
Yeah.
And were you looking up numbers?
Yep. And my computer wants to be slow. So, in 2024, Alex Verdugo is hitting .220 against left-handed hitters, which is good for a 75 weighted runs created plus.
And then I will get you. Oh, we just touched toes.
Weird.
You're weird. I will get you out Trent Grisham's.
No,
Where
I got it.
No. As a lefty versus lefties. Oh, that's average, not WRC plus. He has a. Oh, damn. Never mind. This year he's not been good against lefties.
Yeah, I was just looking. I was like, huh.
But in his career, he's a lot better against lefties. It could just be a thing of getting the intermediate starting time.
Right.
Like, if
Can't
you're only
really get
playing
to a
one every
rhythm.
4 days, like, no shit, you're not going to do well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for his career, he has a 106 weighted runs created plus against lefties. Compare that to a 92 against righties.
Yeah. There's 2 segues I could go with this.
Mm-hmm.
You pick one or 2.
Let's go 2.
2? Okay. So, Jason Dominguez. So, a note, rosters expand on September 1st, 28. Another hitter, another pitcher.
Yep.
But I don't think there's a realistic world where they call him up then.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you wait until September 12th, you get an extra year of service time.
Mm-hmm.
If this tweet would fucking load, I could read it off to you. I really love when it just doesn't load. Like, that just makes me so happy when I prepare fucking notes for hours. And then, okay, there we go. Jason Dominguez, and this was as of a couple days ago. The exit velocities on his last 11 hits: 105, 92, 108, 108, 73, 104, 102, 101, 49.8, 107, 106.
He hit ball hard.
Outside, there are 3 balls in that are not considered hard hit balls. Every other ball is over 104 miles an hour, and one of the ones that's not a hard hit ball is 92 miles an hour, so it's right there.
Which is like, yeah, right below that.
He has nothing more he can prove in AAA.
Mm-hmm.
He just has to rot until September 12th.
Yeah, basically.
But it's...
I wonder who. Well, you know what? This kind of works out because Yankees claimed Duke Ellis, also waivers from Seattle, who's really like a stolen base guy. So you could call him up for like the week and a half as like a pinch runner, and then send him down if that's what the Yankees are planning, which I wouldn't see why not. Use him as a pinch runner, defensive replacement, whatever.
It's also so weird that they would call him up. But it's not weird that they called him up as a 27th man. That's not what I'm saying. But it's weird that they called him up, bat him 5th.
Yeah.
I feel like that just shows their hand, where it's like, we have this much faith in this guy.
Right. It's not like, oh shit, who are we gonna call up? Jason, put him 9th.
Yeah. There is an interesting note, because I was thinking it was kind of between Grisham and Verdugo.
Mm-hmm.
I think they probably just send Grisham down, because he has 3 options.
Oh.
I did not...
That's
I knew he had
interesting.
options, but I didn't know it was 3 options.
Yeah.
So I could realistically see them sending down Grisham and then
Interesting.
just having Dominguez over him. But it's
Right.
also a thing of when they called up Dominguez, they played him over Verdugo.
Right.
Verdugo wasn't playing that game.
Yeah.
So,
Interesting.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what they do.
I feel like they don't do that, but just because.
Then you DFA Verdugo.
Not even. Yeah, I guess when it.
You know what I mean? When it
Yeah.
comes to like just a roster management point of view,
That's probably the best option.
especially because say one of the outfielders get hurt, then you just call Grisham back up.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because that's also how the Yankees like to play it. They like to play a lot more in that type of way where it's a lot more roster management and I
Yeah.
don't want to say manipulation, but more like just the asset management, all that.
Yeah.
But then moving on to, I completely forgot I had this written down in my notes, but Austin Wells at first base would solve so many problems when he's not catching,
Yeah.
because you're getting your 3rd or 4th best hitter in the lineup. It stands hitting, he's your 4th best hitter, or Wells is your 4th best hitter, but regardless, your 3rd or 4th best hitter in the lineup, you just have to get him in there every day.
Yeah.
And obviously you can't DH him most of the days because Stan's DHing. When Stan's not DHing, you want to have Judge in there just to like keep him fresh, especially because he's playing center field full time.
Right.
So, which is another benefit of calling up Dominguez. So, and one of the things of, it's not just like this is coming out of nowhere, because there were talks about him playing first base in the minors when people were concerned about his defense,
Right. Yeah.
which now looks so like just goofy.
Right.
But I forgot to look at it because I just thought about it. I'm curious they actually... Is there Fangraphs for the minors?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm curious if they had him play first base in the minors. Where is fielding? I am sorry about this. My dad was talking the other day about how good I am with my preparation. Psych! He has only played catcher and DH.
Excellent.
So he has never played first base. But a lot of catchers do, I feel, make that transition.
Yeah.
Like you look at Joe Mauer, just a bunch of different guys.
Right. Him obviously being the biggest.
Biggest name when it
Yeah.
comes to that. But yeah.
That would. Yeah. That. I mean, I don't see that. I wouldn't see how that would be too much of an issue.
Mm.
I feel like that'd probably be, like you said, like a pretty smooth transition. But
Because realistically, he should be catching every day.
yeah.
But they seem like they don't want to do that for whatever reason.
Right.
Granted, he started against a lefty last night against the Nationals. But it just...
I don't know. Makes sense.
It doesn't.
Catcher.
What are you trying to do?
Catcher. Yeah. He has.
Oh,
yeah.
you're looking at... Yeah.
Just wanted to double check. Yeah. Never played first base.
Thanks for having faith in me.
No.
But the second to last offensive player I wanted to talk about was Gleyber Torres. So this is a very small sample size. It's about like 10 games. Since August 16th, when moved to the leadoff spot, he has a 439 on base and a 161 WRC plus. So say what you want about him before, but if you're getting on base 44% of the time in front of Soto and Judge,
Excellent.
then that is just...
That's ideal. You can't get much better than
I
that.
want to get... Just because this made me remember the stat. Where is you. Walks. Then let me go to... Did you see the American League walk leaders?
I did not.
Okay.
I'm sure it's Judge Soto or Soto Judge.
Soto at 109. Aaron Judge at 107. Gunnar Henderson's third. I want you to guess how many walks.
Like 85. Lower. 78. 60.
66.
Wow.
The difference between second and third is 41.
That's kind of crazy.
That is just So if that just shows how, first off, afraid teams are to pitch to both those guys.
Mm-hmm.
If they just don't pitch to them, or if you have Glaber that's getting on 44% of the time and they have to now pitch to them,
Right.
like, holy shit, like, especially if Stan's hitting behind Judge, which he has as of late, like, that's just not fair.
No, that's insane. I didn't know it was that much.
Yeah, it's insane. But then going on to, because I just wanted to give him love because I have been up and down on him, especially more down, because especially the game I went to, he was just not playing well in the field, and he made a couple like bonehead decisions. But my ideal lineup when it comes to the postseason is Glaber leadoff, Soto, Judge, Stanton, Wells, Volpe, Jazz, and then I put Rizzo/DJ/Oswaldo, Dominguez.
Right. Dominguez 9th.
Yeah.
And like a
'Cause
double leadoff
I like,
type of, yeah.
like, I just think that you get a lot of pop,
Mhm.
especially when you have guys like Volpe and Jazz,
Yeah.
not directly in front of them, but one spot buffer
Yeah.
between them. I just like that.
That's fair.
I could even see an argument for putting Dominguez 8, so
Okay.
you have like 3 really fast guys in a row.
Yeah.
Because you saw a lot with Volpe and Jazz when they were together. They
Yeah.
were like wreaking havoc. So then
Right.
you get a third guy in there too.
That's fair.
But I just think that's your best lineup. Because I liked Wells cleaning up behind Judge. But if you're not going to play Wells pretty much every day, then I'd much rather stand there just so there's some consistency there.
Right.
And especially when Stan's hot like he is now, you put him at cleanup.
Right. Yeah. That's fair.
Oh.
I think that probably makes the most sense. My one thing is like, it feels wrong for Jazz to be hitting that low.
Yeah.
But given the way it's constructed,
Where are you going to put him?
right? Yeah. Like I wouldn't put him over Wells. Like you're not gonna change that top 3. You know.
Realistically, you're not going to change the top 5.
Yeah.
If Austin Wells
fair.
and Stan are playing, the top 5 in whatever order you want to do is
Are
pretty much locked in.
Yeah.
Is especially, I could see them changing leadoff if Glaber just falls off a cliff.
Right.
But for right now, the top 5 players
Yeah.
are locked in,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
I could see them doing Jazz or Wells then Jazz.
Right.
But against lefties, they've played last night's lineup. They had Wells then Volpe then Jazz.
Right.
So
Yeah, no, it makes a ton of sense. It's just
weird.
crazy to think about. Yeah.
I agree with you. He's also the type of guy he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like
absolutely.
he's one of those guys you'd be like, okay,
right. Just
do you want
wants
me to carry
play.
the bags too?
Right.
So, but then moving on to the pitching side, I really only have notes on one guy, and that's Marcus Stroman. I think that he may get left off. I think there's a high chance he gets left off the postseason roster, and it's not even his fault. Because you look at this is a tweet by John Boy. You look at the outs above average for Yankees pitch. You saw this?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
For Yankees pitchers, Nestor +4, Rodon +3, Weaver +2, Holmes +2, Heel +1, Cole in a very small sample size +1, Tonkin +1, Marcus Stroman -10.
That's insane.
He is just not. He's a ground ball pitcher, and he's not getting any help by his defense.
Yeah. I mean, just looking in August, he has a 5.3 ERA. His FIP, 3.11.
That's fielder independent pitching, which pretty
Right.
much
It
means
kinda-
like
Yeah, it takes out the fielders.
how the actual pitcher is pitching.
Right. Which would rank 4th on the team.
And I forget, you could read FIP as ERA, right?
Yeah, it's read the same exact way.
Yeah.
So think of it, he's
It's a
like has like
3.11
a
ERA.
low 3 ERA.
Yeah.
If the fielders actually helped him.
Yeah. Which is one of those things of if you don't have good fielders, you're not going to do well as a ground ball pitcher.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think a big part of that too is just the inconsistency in the field. Like, for example, like as much as we love Jazz, I think he has like 3 errors over the last 2 games at third.
Right.
There's going to be growing pains with him. I
Yeah.
still like him at third base. I don't think there's a better option. Maybe because the thing is, like, I like Oswaldo at third, but then where are you going to put Jazz? You're not going to put him at second.
Yeah. You're not putting him in the outfield either.
You're not putting him in the outfield. Like,
Unless
maybe
you give... I don't think he's ever played left field, but if you give Verdugo a day
I was
off...
literally about to say bye bye Doogie.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure he's only played
Dog's
center
going to the
field.
pound.
Right. But it's not a terrible idea.
Yeah.
It's,
I don't see how left is that much harder than center, though.
Yeah, I feel like
And even you want to put him in
easy.
center, then you just put Judge in left.
Right. Yeah.
Or depending on the ballpark, you put Soto in left.
Right.
Just because left field at Yankee Stadium is a lot harder. That's why Soto plays right field. How did this get to a conversation about Jazz's position?
Yeah.
Whatever.
That's how it goes.
But I think Stroman overall is just really
He's getting screwed over,
fucked
honestly.
over because of it. Because I don't see how they don't put Clark in over him.
Yeah.
Because Clark is a much higher fly ball and a much higher whiff pitcher.
Right.
So I don't see how you don't put a guy like that in over him.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
even
it
if
just doesn't make
Clark's only
sense.
built up to like 5 innings, maybe like 80 pitches, call it 80,
Right.
90 pitches, I think they would still rather him
Yeah.
in the playoffs over Mark Stroman, who, I think Stroman should be on this roster in the postseason. I definitely think he should.
Yeah.
But I could see a strong world where they leave him off just because of that.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing too is like you could put him in the bullpen, but at the same time,
I don't think he's a bullpen guy, though.
Yeah. And plus, who would you take out of the bullpen to put him in?
Well, you wouldn't have to take anyone out.
That's fair. Yeah.
Because
you're
you're just taking him from the rotation of the
You're
bullpen,
right.
so you
You're
have the same
right,
amount of
yeah.
roster spots.
Yeah. Never mind.
Well, you would
Well, you
have
get
to
what I'm
take
saying.
someone. There's going to be turnover in the bullpen
Yeah.
just because you have a bunch of guys coming back, plus you're getting another starter soon.
Yeah.
You're going to have 2 starters soon. Well, no, because Will Warren did get called up, by the way, for Luis Hill. I forgot to mention that, and he has not looked good so far.
No.
It also has only been 3 starts.
Right.
It's been against 3, or I think he's had 4 starts. No, he's had 3 starts. 2 of them were against dog shit teams
Right.
in the Rockies and the White Sox. But regardless, he has not pitched well.
Yeah.
He's pitched better, but he also only had 3 MLB starts.
Right. In 3 starts, he has a 10.95 ERA,
Yeah.
3.49 FIP.
Yeah.
So
Wait, what's the FIP?
3.49. So 7 runs.
Yeah. Okay, that's a lot better.
Yeah.
I was gonna say because he's one of those guys that he's just not consistently hitting a spot, not consistently locating. But when he is, he looks pretty good.
Right. And he also is running a .513 batting average with balls in play.
Oh, geez.
Basically meaning 50% of the time, any balls that are hit are falling for hits.
Yeah.
So
What's
that's just
the-
one of those things where it'll regress to like the mean, essentially. So there's obvious room for improvement.
What's the average exit velo if it's there?
Batted ball. Let's see. Off of Will Warren, he is giving. I don't have. Yeah, it doesn't see average. Oh, actually, wait. It might in here. Yes. Wow. Holy crap.
I was thinking 93.
Oh wait, that's max. Oof.
What was it?
107. I was like, holy
Oh
crap.
my God.
No, his average average exit velo is 92.4. So he's
You add 0.1, round up, and then I was right.
right. He's roughly giving up a hard hit anytime they make
Yeah.
contact. But it's one of those things where he'll adjust, and eventually guys will get under it, guys will get on top of it. All that.
What do you think
that
this
stuff.
button does?
It's a sound. I don't know what sound, but
Oh, we don't have the volume on, so you can't hear it.
you tell us.
Well, no, the volume's not on it.
Oh. And here comes the volume.
Here comes the volume.
We look at who is affected by imposter syndrome.
What is this one? Oh, I'm keeping that one.
That one's noted. That
That one's
written down.
noted. Right, green.
But anyways, he's also giving up so there's home run to fly ball ratio, basically meaning the percentage of fly balls that turn into home runs. Currently, it's 10.5%, which is way above average. So that's another thing that will slowly regress back. So I can see him like down the stretch kind of posting like a 4.5. Like I think that's incredibly
Yeah.
doable.
I can see that too. But then I saved the very last thing just to kind of send us off into the darkness. Aaron Judge. So it's hard to talk about Aaron Judge just because of how historically insane he's been.
Yeah.
So instead of talking about him every episode, I just put together a couple stats I saw about him that just show how insane of a year he's having. First off, I just want to say there was a quote the other day that he said, I'm trying to get locked in. Once we got locked in, I'll let you guys know.
Yeah, I saw that too.
What the fuck?
That's funny. I love that.
What the fuck? But in his last 13 games, he has more home runs than strikeouts, 10 home runs to 8 strikeouts. He is slugging higher than league average OPS. He is the first player to hit 375 or higher with 45 home runs or more in a 100-game span. The fifth player with 3 or more seasons of 50 home runs. The first player to do it in his first 9 seasons. The first player with 50 or more home runs, 120 or more RBIs that overlook nice. In 100 or more walks before September.
Insane. In the membrane.
His OPS just dipped, I think, to like a 1.197.
He's
but
washed.
If
It's
he has a
over.
1,200 OPS, that'd be the highest OPS since Bonds.
That's insane. Insane.
So I'm curious how far, if you just do American League, how far that would go back. Because you get rid of pretty much
question.
all the steroid hitters,
Yeah.
with the exception of like A-Rod. You're getting rid of all those guys.
Let's see. See how far I can go back on Fangraphs.
But another thing
Super
too
quick.
is right now he has the 6th highest WRC plus of all time.
Damn.
He is having I just want to repeat it, the 6th best offensive season of all time. The first one was Babe Ruth, and he was playing against Walmart cashiers. The other guys were steroid users. I'm not knocking steroid users at all. I've never been like that type of guy. But that just goes to show how absolutely historic of a season he's having. You could get it. I see you.
We're in
looking.
2014.
We're in
13,
2014.
12, 11.
You can't just do it by OPS.
Nope.
I think you definitely can.
You probably can. I'm just making this so much harder on myself.
Season OPS
I wonder if the mic is picking up all the
leaders.
clicking.
It says it is.
Well, that's going to be fun. I just want to get to 1990. I think that's a good point. 98. 97. I'm definitely making this so much harder on myself.
Well, you're doing that. What is it?
That's how I feel.
What do you think this one does?
I'm in 91.
The Filipino-American experience.
January 1st of 1990. Oh, it's got to load. Shit.
What does this one do?
Some elevated music while this loads. That's it. That's going to be my computer after trying to load all this shit.
You can do a computer.
For reference, those watching, it's loading, I swear.
All right, so there is. Let me look at it now.
You keep talking. We'll get back to this whenever this loads.
Frank Thomas.
What are you looking at?
Give me 1 second. AL. The only players in the AL post integration to have an OPS 1,200 or more are Frank Thomas and Ted Williams. And I'm not sure if Frank Thomas, like how many plate appearances that was in.
Right.
Let me look that up. So that was the 94 season. Frank Thomas. 94, that was only in 113 games.
Right.
So, yeah.
I think I broke Fangraphs.
Try putting too much. You're too big of a nerd for Fangraphs.
Yeah.
You could do it, Fangraphs. Come on. We believe in you. I
Yeah,
believe.
It's frozen.
It's frozen?
It's frozen.
All right, whatever. It doesn't matter. I
Yep.
just, what's it called? I just got it.
There you go.
I just want to finish on Aaron Judge and his absolute. Just the thing that his slugging is higher than league average OPS.
That's hilarious.
That's
funny.
It's insane.
Absolutely.
What is? I'm curious now.
Oh boy.
Well, also, I'm not gonna do that because that'd be way too many stats to go. But he is on Triple Crown watch. The home
yes.
runs and the RBIs are just not even gonna be close. But for a batting average, he's at 333. Bobby Shit is at 347.
We got an error.
We got an error.
We got an error.
Jesus Christ. All right, we're just going to ignore that for now then.
Yep.
That's all I got. If your computer wants to try to breathe and if you want to
That's
send us away.
You got it.
Queens.
He's doing good. But yeah, that's all you got. We'll head into Queens.
It's out of here! And the Mets win it!
This is Mets Willets Point. Transfer is available to the 7 local train.
Transfer is available to the Q48 bus.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Queens. You know what? That's fair. I don't mind it. That makes sense. But we'll get to why it makes sense in just a moment after a message from our sponsor that doesn't exist. Your injury report brought to you by Triboro MD. Are you going to do it? Okay. Daniel Nunez was activated. Huascar Brazaban was optioned to AAA. He had a rough go of it in Thursday's game against the Padres. But Paul Blackburn was placed on the 15-day IL with a hand contusion that he suffered on Friday's game against the Padres. Just a line drive just kind of caught him on the wrist. Everyone involved seems to be pretty optimistic that he's just going to miss minimum time. But Brazaban was recalled, so he doesn't go anywhere. And, of course, because he always finds a way back, Tyler McGill is likely to replace Blackburn's spot in the rotation. Blackburn didn't really have he did not have a great start whatsoever against the Padres. I think he gave up like 9 hits in about 2 innings. Do it. Which is just not good, obviously, especially in that series, which was just so important. But that's all the injury report. Not much else there.
Not ex-player is starting a rehab assignment in AA Somerset.
No rehab.
Ex-player is
No
starting a
rehab
rehab
assignments.
assignment in AA Somerset. Ex-player.
I mean, Sean Reed Foley is in AAA as of right now. I don't know if I would call it a rehab assignment. More so, they just want him to pitch. But
It's not a rehab
I
assignment.
completely
You're just
forgot about
ass.
that. Thank God I just saw his name. Brett Beatty fractured a finger in AAA. I believe it was earlier this week. So he's expected to miss 4 to 6 weeks, which effectively ends his season. So that's Brett Beatty's season in a nutshell. I feel absolutely horrible for him. Started the year with the team, produced for about 2-3 weeks, fell off a cliff, got optioned. Mark Vientos essentially took his job. He's been decent in AAA, not fantastic. And then, like Justin mentioned, in the Bronx, rosters are expanding in 4 days, 5 days?
September 1st, so yeah, call it 4 or 5 days.
Right. So, which he was probably on the top of the list to be recalled and take that extra roster spot. And now, obviously, with the fractured finger, he's obviously done for the season. So, I feel horrible for him. But it does make a very interesting discussion on who should take that roster spot for the position player side. But before I talk about that for a second, his year in AAA, he played 58 games, hit 16 home runs, 43 RBIs. He hit .261 for 358 on base, a 528 slug, which is good for a 126 weighted runs created plus in AAA, which is solid. That's good. This is now, 632. Finished the year with career 90 games in AAA, which isn't even a full season.
Yeah.
So, first of all, to everyone kind of writing him off, he has barely played in AAA. Like, not even a full season. In the past 3 years, he hasn't even played a complete season in AAA. So, hopefully next year, I feel like with the season Mark Vientos is having, he kind of is...
He leads all third basemen in home runs.
Right. he basically has the third base job penciled in. We'll see if Pete Alonso's free agency affects any of that. Maybe they move him to first base, but that'll be a discussion for the offseason. But yeah, so Brett Baty, it was obviously a top prospect. He hasn't performed at the major league level, but I still think he can be a really good
My
major
only
league player.
counterpoint to the AAA argument is I feel that AAA doesn't matter as much as it used to.
That's fair.
I feel like AA is a lot, especially for hitters, just with how big of a run environment AAA is. I feel like, because also in AAA, you have guys on like rehab assignments, you have old veteran guys. But I feel like AA is really where you're facing like those top level prospects.
Yeah, but I mean, in AA, he had what's that?
I'm not writing him off.
Yeah.
I'm just playing devil's advocate. Just
Yeah.
say that like AAA doesn't matter as much as AA.
Yeah, he hasn't played since 2022 in AA, but 160 weighted runs created plus in 2021 in 40 games in AA, 118 weighted runs created plus. I think the biggest thing for Baty is his approach.
And you throw away, I think, that 118 just because in 2022 he was better. So you look more at the progression rather
fair.
than where they were before they had like that progression.
Right. So it'll be interesting. Definitely an interesting conversation. But with the bat speed, with the raw power, I think he still has a lot of the tools that can make a really good major league player. So I'm still rooting for him. But hope, quick recovery. We'll see what happens in the offseason / spring training, and we'll circle back to that. But going back to the roster spot for September, on the 40-man roster, you have Luis Angel Acuna, who is having a below-average year in AAA. DJ Stewart, who was optioned almost a month ago. No, more than a month ago after the trade deadline. In AAA this year, he is...
July 28th, by the way.
Okay, so July 28th. He currently
So
has...
literally a month ago.
Right, a weighted run created plus of 139 in AAA. In 17 games, that's not even 70 plate appearances. So... I don't. Unfortunately, this is gonna sound bad. Unfortunately, I think he's at the top of the list, but I don't think it makes a ton of sense because Jesse Winker is essentially
A better DJ Stewart.
From a defense perspective, from a hitting perspective,
From a vibes perspective.
DJ Stewart probably provides more power, but obviously that also comes with a lot more swing and miss. The guy I would really like to see, but I would really love a left-handed bat as the next roster spot. But Drew Gilbert, from his coming back from injury, has not hit well really at all. Jackie Bradley Jr., who's been with the Mets
He's in the what?
Yeah, they signed him, I forget when, but let's see. He's only played in 17 games. He has a below average weighted runs created plus. And the only other lefty that...
Well, the thing with JBJ, too, is you're only calling him up if, like, Bader gets hurt.
Yeah.
Like
that's
he's a
defense.
defensive first guy,
Right.
like any offense you get, so I don't think that's realistic. But
Yeah, no, I agree, too. But I'm just going over, like, the lefty.
Yeah.
'Cause I feel like this team is extremely right-handed. I mean...
Which is weird.
Yeah,
I feel like in the past for the Mets, you guys have been a lot more left-handed, or at least switch hitter-wise.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you had Conforto, McNeil, Nimmo.
Lindor.
Right. But right now you have Lindor switch hitter, Vientos righty, Alonso, JD, Marte, Alvarez, Bader plays a lot, Taylor plays. Your bench is entirely right-handed. It's Winker, McNeil, and Nimmo.
All right, so you got 4.
You got 3.5 because Lindor is a switch hitter. But
I would only say that Lindor. I only consider him a lefty because 2/3 of his plate appearances are as a lefty.
That's fair. So, yeah, you have 4, which isn't terrible. But I feel like from a bench perspective, you could really use another lefty. But the guy I'm going to talk about is not a lefty, so it doesn't really make a ton of sense. Why do you keep flying like a plane? Who do you think I'm about to talk about?
Jet Williams.
No. He's been hurt the entire year. Yes.
Oh, shit.
He got wrist surgery like a month or two ago.
I was just trying to think who else it could be.
Yeah, and he's still in AA.
Oh, okay.
But this guy isn't... If you're not a Mets fan, you probably have never heard of him. But Luke Ritter... he's been in AAA since 22, really.
That's a Madden-generated name.
But this year, he has a 126 weighted runs created plus, 24 home runs in 112 games, which I believe leads that AAA league, those 24 home runs. Right-handed hitter, but he has a lot of power potential. Like Justin mentioned, AAA is a really big run environment, so take it what you will. He's slugging .501 for 370 on-base percentage. The 370 on-base percentage is what I'm really looking for, because that is more so to translate to the major leagues. But the slugging is probably going to go down. But the biggest thing for Ritter is that he's played many positions. If I could just get all his AAA. Yeah, he's played first base. He has played second base. He has played third base. And he has some limited experience in left field. No, not even limited experience. It's 24 games in left field. So he could play all across the infield, and he could play a corner spot in the outfield. I think that versatility is super important, especially from a extra spot on that roster. And I think he has some upside when it comes to the offense.
It's annoying me because I'm trying to find the league average AAA stuff.
Yeah.
But I can't find it because what was the on base? 366?
370.
370. I feel like that's like not that. It's not as impressive as it may sound.
Here, I can.
Just because, like, I could be very off when I say that.
Yeah.
But can I not find this?
Let's go to you.
Because what is
you
that?
You can find it somewhere. I know for a fact you can.
That's about a 870 OPS.
Yeah, 370, slugging 500. Yeah, 870 essentially.
All right, let me go to.
It's somewhere. I swear to God.
I don't know what I think I have an idea what I could do.
Oh, there it is. Hold on. International League. Let's see. He ranks 22nd on base percentage. 22nd on base and 10th in slugging.
Okay.
Yeah. And then weighted runs created plus, he is 10th in the entire league. So he's up there.
I'll take my L on that one.
And you're also comparing to guys like top prospects like Jackson Holliday, Kyle Manzardo, Connor Norby.
Even guys that aren't like Holliday's not there anymore.
Right, exactly.
That's just because I mentioned it, that it being a run environment. MLB, the league average OPS is 710.
Yeah.
He has an 871 OPS with a 126 WRC plus.
Right, he's only like
if you go to
solid player.
MLB,
like what's a 126?
That's what I was looking at. 120. Where is OPS? Oh, I'm gonna have to do math for this. Fuck.
You got it.
Jose Altuve is a 350 on base with a 442 slugging, and he has a 126, so that's like 792.
Right.
So 80 points lower.
Yeah. But I think he could be, if he comes up, which I don't really think he does, because then you just have so many righties. I really do think they go with a left-handed bat. But I feel like he could put up like a 110, 115. Yeah. I think that's doable. But we'll see what they decide with that. But yeah, so, and then the pitching spot is probably going to be McGill, because Brazaban's back, so they do have to bring back a starter. I'm just trying to quickly look if his spot in the rotation comes up soon before rosters expand.
Pitcher.
Yes. Yeah, they'll need a pitcher on Thursday, so they'll have to make a move before that. But it's probably going to be Tyler McGill. You option a bullpen arm, and then whatever comes September. But yeah. So.
Oh God, my abs are sore.
Excellent.
My low abs.
So that concludes the injury report, which went a lot longer than I anticipated.
Sorry.
But to get to the games that they played this week, the Mets had a really, really big series against the Orioles, taking 2 out of 3. You're welcome. And then they
Mets Sox Nation
split with the Padres, which I would have signed up for, but the way it ended is extremely disappointing. But we'll get into that in just a little bit. To quickly go over the Orioles series, like I mentioned, they took 2 out of 3. The 2 wins, walk-off home runs, both off of Sir Anthony Dominguez, Francisco Alvarez with the first one, and Jesse Winker with the second one. And just a shout-out to 2 lefties to pitching in that series. Minaya and David Peterson pitched a combined 14 innings, allowed 9 hits, 5 earned runs, 1 walk, 17 strikeouts. That's a 3.21 ERA against one of the better offenses in the entire league.
Didn't we also say that they were a lot better against lefties?
We did, yes, that's true. So that's also extremely impressive. And for the most part, I know Rutschman has been struggling this year.
But he's a fucking stud against lefties.
Right. To keep him in check, Gunnar Henderson, I don't really think he did a whole lot either. To keep like the big guys in check was huge. It was really Quintana who just never really gave them a chance to begin with. But just a shout out to those guys who just pitched excellent. Minaya has been fantastic. David Peterson has been even better. No, let me to quickly touch on David Peterson.
The inconsistent consistency.
Yes.
Consistently inconsistent.
He now, through 15 starts, has that's his whip. That would have been crazy. 2.85 ERA. He is 8-1, which I know doesn't mean everything, but after being so bad in David Peterson's starts last year, every time he pitches, it's more often a win than it's not.
Yeah.
So a 2.85 ERA, a 1.32 whip, and he's just. I'm so happy. I've been a David Peterson truther for a while. I remember trying to just like give him any excuse last year, but I'll touch on the advanced stats and the underlying stats because they aren't pretty. He ranks 8th percentile in expected ERA, 11th in expecting batting average, 22nd average exit velocity. Doesn't get a lot of chase, doesn't get a lot of whiffs, doesn't strike out people, walks 2 people, gets hit hard. But he is 89th in ground ball percentage, 95 in extension, but
Ground ball pitchers usually don't have good advanced stats.
Exactly what I was going to say. It's from an analytic perspective. I think I've said this in the past. When you're a ground ball pitcher, you want the ball in play. And from an advanced stat perspective, if you put a ball in play, there's more likely a chance that it will be a hit or something bad will happen. There's more of a chance of the guy getting on base, right? Unless if you strike people out, ball's never put in play, you get an out, whatever. But as a ground ball pitcher who wants to get those balls in play, there's just more variance where something could happen that could get a guy on base. And to top it all, he walks way too many guys. He has a lot of traffic, so the advanced stats don't love that either. But at the same time, he's getting it done.
One thing I just wanted to mention was I think a guy that's kind of like the poster child for it is Logan Webb.
Yeah.
Where you look at his advanced stats from 2022 to 2024, and he has like a couple of things that, like his chase, his ground ball, and his extension are all like elite.
Yeah.
Everything else is like pretty mediocre.
Right.
I will say he is really good at not walking guys.
Yeah.
But you look at his ERA over those 3 years, 2.9, 3.25, 3.13. And I feel like it's one of those things that if it really was that bad, it wouldn't be able to. It would be so fluky to extend over 3 years.
Yeah.
So it does just work that way for some ground ball pitchers. You can't just look at the underlying numbers.
Absolutely. It's all within the context of the pitcher. But I will say, as long as he gets the walks in control, I think you'll see an improvement in this. But that's the biggest thing. But he's just been so good for this Mets team, and I'm extremely happy for him after having to get the hip surgery over in the offseason. But so, yeah, that was the Orioles series. You're welcome. Taking 2 out of 3 against a really good team and then going straight into a Padres series against a team that's been one
Very
of the
hot.
best since the All-Star break, like right below the Diamondbacks, who you're going to play starting tonight.
Right there.
But like I mentioned, a 2-4 split. It was disappointing. like I would have signed up for this a week ago, but expectations change. It's still disappointing because you led 2-0 heading into the 8th inning of that last game, which would have clinched you the series. But the other important aspect is because the Padres were swept in June by the Mets do hold the season tiebreaker over the Padres. They only needed 1 win for that, but a split was absolutely necessary. Yeah. So moving on from that, Joe Musgrove, what the fuck, just owns the Mets ever since that wild card game. Completely shut out the Mets. They only got 2 hits in that game, 1 hit against Musgrove.
He took the cheating allegations personally.
He did, which, you know what? Good for him. I respect it, but those ears are still looking extra shiny, so I don't know. But Francisco Lindor, this series was just on another level. He hit 333, 2 home runs, 2 doubles, 5 RBIs, 4 runs, which is a 216 weighted runs created plus in the span of those 4 games. He had a 2 home run game on Saturday, including a grand slam off of old friend Michael King. But he's just been ungodly. We'll talk a little bit more about him a little later. But on Sunday, it was just a complete bullpen letdown. Quintana, who's been struggling for 2-3 starts, gave in an excellent performance, going 6 1/3, 4 hits, 0 earned runs, 2 walks, and what's most impressive, he did not strike out a single batter. But Jose Butto, who I mentioned last week should be getting more high leverage innings, got a high leverage inning. He allowed a game-tying 2-run shot in an inning and a third. His past 6 appearances haven't been pretty. He has a 3.86 ERA in 9 1/3 innings. He has walked 8 batters, and in that span, that would be a 7.71 walks per 9. And because of that, he has a 5.2 FIP. So a 3.86 ERA, 5.2 FIP, which is not pretty. I think it was Ron Darling who mentioned on the broadcast about his arm angle or like his release angle. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I know everything about it, but essentially, if you're not consistently repeating that kind of arm slot, your pitches aren't going to be the same. His sinker is not going to sink the same. His slider is not going to break the same. So my laptop died. It did. But
you on my computer?
I got it. But technical difficulties. But basically, it might just be a fatigue thing. I mentioned it last week that, for this year, he is a relief pitcher. And look, they're taking that to heart, which I think is the right way to go. But it seems like he might not be completely up to it just yet. So he was a little bit of a disappointment in that. I will say I applaud Carlos Mendoza for trusting his guys, and you're basically using your best 2 relievers to try to end that game. And your first one ties the game, and then Edwin Diaz in the bottom of the 9th allowed a walk-off home run to Jackson Merrill. Just extremely frustrating loss. Look, the pitching isn't all to blame. Obviously, Butto and Diaz kind of sold it in the end. But the offense also just recorded 2 runs, which both off solo shots of JD Martinez and Mark Vientos. When you're facing the Padres, you have to score more than 2 runs.
Yeah.
Especially when you're facing Martin Perez, who has been good with the Padres, I'll admit. But you're facing Martin Perez, who you should have got a little more in. But once you hit that Padres bullpen, you're not hitting anything. Because of the trade deadline, their bullpen is just completely disgusting. I wouldn't be surprised if it's probably the best bullpen since that trade deadline.
Definitely.
But just very frustrating, and just some overall thoughts. To start this big 10-game stretch between the Orioles, the Padres, the Diamondbacks, you're 4-3. You won the series against the Orioles. You split with the Padres. Like I said, went into the Padres expecting a split. That's exactly what you got. But given the way Sunday's game ended, it's a gut punch. And because
Sorry about that.
if you heard that, apologies. But because the Braves are just not losing, you have to kind of keep pace with them. But at the same time, you have to pull off a stretch, that like a really hot stretch. Because I don't know what the record is in August, but you're playing, I feel like, without looking at it, I feel like you're playing around 500, which is good. You're maybe keeping pace with the Braves, maybe a little bit behind.
11-12 in August.
Yeah, so a
After
game
going
below 500.
16-8 in June and 17-10 in July.
Yeah, so look, they weren't going to stay that hot in June and July. Obviously, they were going to struggle at some point. It's just very unfortunate. It's coming at one of the most, if not the most important part of the season. But just to kind of put it into perspective, after Monday's games where the Mets were off, they are 3 games behind the Braves for the third wildcard spot. You're 6 behind the Padres for the second wildcard spot, and 7 games behind for the first wildcard spot. It's going to come down to the Braves and the Mets. I'm sure the Padres and the Diamondbacks are going to cool off eventually.
Yeah.
But with the pace that they're playing at, by that time they start struggling, they have probably already padded the lead where it's not going to be much of a discussion.
Yeah.
So it's definitely going to come between the injury-riddled Braves.
Which, it makes no sense how they're off to this. Just
I know, they're
insane
playing
start.
this good with half of their roster missing. So they need to pull off one like in 8 of the last 11, 12 of the last 14 type runs. They need a big run in them, because keeping pace isn't going to do you much. You do have a series with the Braves in September, a 3-game set. I think that will decide the season tiebreaker, if I'm not wrong. So you technically want to be like in the most like optimistic / like least amount you want to be behind is 3.
Yeah.
Because say you sweep them, you hold the tiebreaker. If you're tied for the last week or so of the season, you get the tiebreaker over them. But PTSD from 2022, I don't want it to come to that again. Because that's expecting that you play well. I think it's the Phillies and then the Brewers is how they ended off. Definitely the Brewers to end the season. But if you're tied with the Braves, you have to then keep pace with them. You absolutely need to. And that's just that's cutting it way too close, personally. I mean, sure, if they get into playoffs, you get in whichever way you can. But cutting it that close is just not ideal.
So you guys have to sweep the Diamondbacks to have the head-to-head against them?
You need to win the series.
You need to win the series?
So they need to take 2, because they split with them the beginning of June.
Okay,
it's
so
currently
regardless,
2-2.
it's going to be head-to-head. It's not going to be...
Yeah.
Okay. No, because I was going to start like getting down the tiebreaker rabbit hole.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't matter, because 7 games, so one team's going to win.
Right. You have it against the Padres now. You can get against the Diamondbacks. You have it against the Cardinals. I don't know how far they're back. The Giants have it over the Mets. Then after that, I'm not sure if there's really anyone else really in the picture.
The Cardinals are 3 games behind the Mets. The Giants and Cubs are 2.5 games behind the Mets. And then the Reds are 5 games back behind you guys. And then kind of
The Cubs?
The Colorado Rockies are 19.5 games
19.5.
behind the Mets.
So I think we don't need to worry about the Rockies at least. But I think the Cubs, you have the tiebreaker against the Cubs, if I'm not mistaken. Because I believe they split a 4-game set at Citi Field, and then they won a 3-game set in Chicago. But regardless,
The Chicago Cubs are 3-4 against the Mets, so yes, you do.
yeah, okay. So the Mets do hold the tiebreaker.
I'm curious what's your record against the Braves.
I think it's even. Actually, no. The Braves might be up a game.
What is this, 24? It is even.
It's even? All right. So, yeah.
Wait. Yes.
Yes?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So, season series is even, meaning that 3-game set, you have to win to clinch that tiebreaker. Obviously, if there's still 3 games back, you want that sweep, but it's going to be tough. This is, I said it last week already, but this is the crucial stretch of the season. If you go on a sub 500 run, that can cost you the season. I don't think it's, even if you play 500, that can cost you the season.
Something I just wanted to mention was the Mets' inability to finish series is, like, I kind of think really starting to bite them in the ass. Like you said, they were 2-2, and Padres lost the last 2. Against the Braves, they went 2-2, but they won the first 2.
Yeah.
Then lost the last 2.
Yeah. That was frustrating.
If you win one of those games, all you have to do is not get swept by the Braves, and then you have the season series against them. Now you have to win that series in Atlanta.
Right. So, yeah, speaking on that, like the just inability to finish off series, I looked at it on Sunday after the loss to the Padres. They have not won a single 4-game set this entire season. They lost one to the Phillies in May, but that's when, everything was going to shit.
I think it was 9-19 in May.
Right. So, besides the Phillies' loss, they have not won a single 4-game set. They've split all of them.
It's crazy.
Which is good, but come down the stretch, a win here, a win there.
But mediocre teams don't win the World Series.
Right. 500 teams don't win the World Series.
No.
So, come September, that May stretch, those blown games that you were up in the 8th inning, that's going to come back to haunt them. And they, like I probably said it 3 times already, they need to pull off a really big stretch, and it's got to be soon.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned, 3-game set against the Arizona Diamondbacks starting tonight on Tuesday. Sean Manaea goes up against Eduardo Rodriguez to start the season off. And then it's Severino and Brandon Pfaadt. And then I would assume Tyler McGill against Ryan Nelson, who's been excellent in his past few games. Who actually just took over Jordan Montgomery's spot in the rotation.
Crazy.
Yeah. He also just fully out loud blamed Boris, which is also insane. But regardless.
He's not wrong, but.
Yeah. Just another few notes before we send you guys away. The offense has been very weird in August. They've won games, but they've been very, I guess, inconsistent. The runners in scoring position have still proved to be an issue. But you only have 1, 2, 3, 4. You only have 6 players with a weighted runs created plus above league average. And of those 6, 2 of them, Jose Iglesias and Jesse Winker, are part-time players.
I just want to kind of add to that point. So the Mets in May, when they were horrible and they went 9-19, they had a 677 team OPS. When they were 16-8 in June, 860. When they were 17-10 July, 759. When they were 11-12 right now in August, 723.
Right.
So there is a direct correlation. Obviously, it's baseball, shocking. You score more runs, you do better.
Right.
But there's a direct correlation between the offense playing really well and the Mets winning because of it.
Yeah, I think we've said it a lot that this team is going to go as far as the offense is going to carry them.
Yeah.
And to your point, that exactly explains it. But obviously, Francisco Lindor has been their best hitter in August. Shocking.
Could possibly win the MVP.
Right. Pete Alonso has been decent. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I know he's actually been better with runners in scoring position in August, which is just nice to see. Jeff McNeil is continuing his hot stretch. Mark Vientos, like Justin mentioned, is now leading all third basemen in home runs. Jose Iglesias and Jesse Winker have been great in their part-time play. But J.D. Martinez, 99 weighted runs created plus. Brandon Nimmo, he's really killing them. 83 weighted runs created plus. Starling Marte has been great since his return, 47. Francisco Alvarez continues to struggle, 35 weighted runs created plus. You know, you have a lot of guys who you thought could carry you, it could help you, struggling in the worst time possible.
Do you think that part of that has to do with, for Alvarez, has to do with his thumb? It's not being 100%?
I wouldn't be shocked. It's certainly a possibility. Another thing that came out earlier this week is that the hitting coach, Eric Chavez, I didn't read the full article, I only saw bits and pieces, but in summary, he's basically telling Alvarez not to pull the ball.
Which
is stupid.
Yeah.
That's
a pulled fly ball has the best expected outcome in baseball.
Yes. And Alvarez, who has incredible raw power, good game power, which we saw against the Orioles. And guess what? The walk-off home run, pulled fly ball. It was more like kind of left center field, but still.
I don't see in his career, but in 2024, he has one home run that was not pulled.
Alvarez?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I don't understand the thought process with Eric Chavez telling a elite power bat, or at least potential power bat, to not pull the ball.
In 2023, when he had 25 home runs, only 4 of them were opposite way.
Yeah. Like, that's the answer right there. Like, pull the ball. And now I'm not a hitting coach, obviously. I couldn't tell you what for him to change to pull more fly balls, but
aggressive. Be aggressive.
Maybe that. But if he could get going, that would be huge. And that walk-off on Monday, yes. I thought that could have been a kind of trajectory change for Alvarez, and unfortunately it hasn't. I don't think he's had an extra base hit since. It's just been really a frustrating season for Alvarez, but Brandon Nimmo and J.D. Martinez, those two guys need to get it going. Brandon Nimmo has been awful since the All-Star break. J.D. Martinez has been brutally average, but it's just a very frustrating month for the offense. Very inconsistent. You know, Lindor has carried them, especially that Saturday game. That was all him. And to just wrap things up, like Justin mentioned, Lindor is absolutely in the MVP conversation. I think right now it's Ohtani and Lindor.
I don't know how the voters are going to view Ohtani.
I know. That's the biggest thing.
Because, one, there's 3 things that I kind of look at when I look at that. One, voters typically don't like bigger market teams.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that LA is a bigger market than the Mets.
Okay.
Because I think this is, I'm not saying like, oh, little brother, but I think when people think New York, they think of Yankees and then a decent gap and then the Mets when it comes to market-wise, at least. So I think LA is like significantly bigger, so I think that goes in favor of Lindor. They're going to look at DH, so obviously that's going to be a lot more in favor of Lindor. But then the only other thing is they absolutely love Ohtani.
Right. And he has a chance of going 50-50.
Yeah.
You know?
That being said, sorry for cutting you off, but
yeah, go ahead.
In 2022, I thought it was going to be very close when Ohtani was pitching against Judge. I'm pretty sure Judge got 28 first place votes, and the only 2 voters that didn't vote for him were in California.
Yeah. It's definitely it makes it a lot more interesting because Ohtani's a DH, because there's never been...
If he was pitching, he's winning it. But
yeah, there's never been a DH to outright win the MVP.
Really?
To my knowledge, I'm pretty sure. But so just some comparisons. Lindor has a 6.5 wins above replacement. Compare that to a 6.3 to Ohtani. Wins above replacement does take into account position. So Ohtani is technically at a disadvantage because it's taken away.
No one has done it.
Yeah.
The closest was Don Baylor, who played 40% of his games at DH in 1979.
Right. So WAR does account for the difference in positions, and Ohtani being close just as a DH does speak volumes. But
Lindor also was god-awful for a while.
2 weeks.
Really? I thought it was like a month.
Check the 2 week. Take out the 2 weeks of the season and check his stats.
So literally just 2 weeks into the season?
Yep. But for the season stats in general, Lindor has a 134 weighted runs created plus. Compare that to a 170 for Ohtani, which is just insane.
God, I love how slow I am. Game log. I hate that it starts in fucking February. Like, why? So let's call it April 14th. 148 WRC plus.
Right. Take out the first 2 weeks. You'll probably take out maybe the first week, and it still looks solid. But I have down here since April 7th, Lindor has 6.8 wins above replacement. Ohtani, 5.9. Almost a full win above Ohtani. So obviously you have to look at the full season, but once Lindor turned things on, I think he's been the best player in the National League.
Mm-hmm.
And from a strictly word standpoint, most valuable player, Lindor means more to the Mets than I think Ohtani means to the Dodgers. If you take out Lindor from that Mets team, they're not even sniffing the playoffs. They're not even in the discussion.
Well, if you're considering sponsorships and how much revenue each player brings into his team, Ohtani would be significantly more valuable than Lindor.
Anyways. Yeah. Thank you.
I'll take my L on that.
And then you take out Ohtani from the Dodgers, they're probably still in the playoffs. Maybe wild card, but I don't think they're
Mets are in the draft lottery for a top 10 pick.
Right. Like, Lindor is more valuable to the Mets than Ohtani is to the Dodgers.
But then again, the voters change every year.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's going to come down to the wire. It's going to be a really interesting discussion. And
Man, why can't Judge be in the NL?
Good. But hey, I'm rooting for the 2 MVPs to be in New York.
Yeah.
You know, I think that
Juan Soto and Pete Alonso.
that'd be pretty sick. But that's all I got. Justin, if you want to add anything else.
If you give me 1 second, just because I want to say something.
Okay.
Just about the WAR differential for the why is this not players? Like I don't want to do it by players. I want to do it by leaders. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? All right, so are we at players now? Thank you. The top 4 players in WAR all play in the American League.
Well, yeah. But Lindor is closing in on Gunnar, if I'm not mistaken.
6.7 to 6.5.
Right. Neck and neck. But who else? Judge Witt Soto. I see. Yeah, that makes sense. But is that all you got?
Yeah.
So, all right. Without further ado, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. If you listened to us last year, you would know that we did a radio show on 88.7 WNHU here in New Haven. The link is in the description if you're interested. We do a show, Triboro Sports Show, where we talk more than just baseball. We cover all things New York sports. So if you're interested in that, we will be starting again tomorrow and Wednesday at 6
to 8 o'clock.
6 to 8 p.m. So if you're interested, again, link in the description. But yeah, thank you guys for watching.
If you are interested.
If you are interested. But follow us and the Triboro Sports Show on Instagram, Triboro Podcast for us, Triboro Sports Show for the radio. Instagram, TikTok, subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Spotify so you never miss an episode of us. Things are going to get real interesting down the stretch for both of these teams. So we'll be locked in. We'll be here always giving you the news of the week. But thank you guys again, and we will see you in the next episode.
See you guys.